The Rebel Capitalist Show.
Another view that I've been trying to ponder, just because usually I just start with the macro and kind of work my way down, is if I'm Putin and I could choose between taking the power away from the United States or taking power away from Ukraine, that's a no-brainer. It's going to be the United States.
Right.
Because if I can take power away from the United States, then I can pretty much do what I want with Ukraine, or, I can kind of achieve my objectives far easier on a moving forward basis. So everything that is now coming out with Putin trying to price nat gas in rubles. And most
what a move.
But most of the mainstream media hasn't talked about the fact that they're talking about nat gas now, but they've also got oil on the table. They've got fertilizer on the table. They've got timber on the table. Pretty much every single one of these extremely needed commodities for the global economy, they could price in rubles. And more and more this is coming out. And I did a video the other day, a live stream, where I went.
And who's the big winner here? Who's the big winner here? Just to make sure.
It's
China. It's China.
Well, I think it's China. I think it's Saudi Arabia. I think
who are interacting with Russia and China now, right? The Saudis are now talking with these guys. This is a sea change.
It makes you think that, is Ukraine really about Ukraine? Or
not
is
a bit.
Ukraine about the dollar?
The last time someone challenged the dollar, they got the crap bombed out of them. But that's not Russia. That was Iraq.
Right.
Iraq was going to go the gold dinar. Now, I don't know if that's what triggered the war. I think it was just Bush wanting to bomb the shit out of them. But no, it's not about Ukraine at all. What bothers me badly about this is how many people just buy it hook, line, and sinker. And they say, look, I know who's evil, the guy who invaded. So then I have to pull out the Trump cards. Said, okay, tell me who over the last 20 years has bombed more countries and killed more people, us or Russia?
Yeah.
Their heads light on fire when I said, look, statistically speaking, we're the bad guys. On a purely statistical argument, we've killed more, we've bombed more, and they go, well, but they give an excuse about the Middle East. I said, which of those countries attacked us? Which ones attacked us? Tell me. Yeah. Now, if an American attacks a country, does that country get to bomb the U.S. because an American attacked the country? Right? Some suicide bomber comes from I don't care what country. You didn't bomb the shit out of the country. I think the U.S. foreign policy. The one that makes sense to me, this is a total Collum original, is we look at the Middle East. I think our policy is any country that starts to look strong, we undermine them. It's just it's clip off the highest peak. It's like getting a haircut. And I think when Libya starts to look stable, we go, we got to destabilize Libya. Libya was not a problem until we knocked off Gaddafi and turned it into a complete disaster. And we're bombing the shit out of Yemen. You say, oh, no, we're not. Yeah, the Saudis are with our weapons, right? Where are the activists on that? Where are you all lefties who are screaming? So the hypocrisy is driving me nuts. The hypocrisy about Ukraine. We go, oh, they invaded a sovereign country. I go, oh, we've never done that. Bush said last time that happened with World War II. I go, oh, come on, not but Biden. Biden said the last time someone invaded a sovereign country was in World War II. And I go, well, besides the fact he's lost his marbles, which gets him a break from me. We do it every year. We do it every year.
Yeah, another thing that's interesting about kind of trying to figure out the motivation behind Putin, or maybe even the timing.
Right. Why now?
Well, because you got inflation rising everywhere. You've got inflation rising in United States, in Europe, Japan. You've got nat gas prices going through the roof in places like Germany. And if I'm Russia, if I'm Putin, I realize that I produce a lot of the stuff, a lot of the energy that the world needs right now. And if the West sanctions me, then that's going to increase energy prices exponentially. And that's going to inflict a massive amount of pain on the United States, the American voter, and the voters in the European Union. And this gives me a lot of leverage. Now, I think if Putin would have done this at a time where we had CPI at call it 1.5%,
wouldn't have hurt us.
and we were fighting, according to the central planners, we were fighting
Deflation.
it would have been, that's not an opportune time because he wouldn't have the leverage. But when you've got CPI at 7.9%, now all of a sudden you've got a ton of leverage. And I don't know if you saw the story today, how Putin kind of gave the deadline for today.
I saw nothing today to speak of.
Well, I think they're kind of trying to sweep it under the rug, because I saw a Reuters article this morning that says that the European players are actually trying to figure out a way to pay in rubles. But it's just, I think,
of course, they have to.
They have to that under the rug. But that's kind of, I think, why the timing, why he chose this time to actually, take action. That's my hypothesis.
So my worldview is getting to the point. I had dinner with a famous guy the other night. I'll name him, Einhorn. And it was funny because it was scheduled. It was at my house. I knew I was going to feed him. Someone knocks on the door. I open the door. I go, shit, it's Thursday. I'm not ready. I'm in a bathrobe, and Einhorn and his lovely girlfriend show up at the door, and I'm going, oh man, they're going, no problem. We'll just order takeout. I go, yeah, sure. But and finally I said, after about an hour, I said, look, here's the deal. If I was in your shoes, I'd be saying exactly what you're saying and not feel bad at all. And if you were in my shoes, you'd be horrified. We're going to have to live with that paradox. To make the story funnier than crap, is before the night was over, and his girlfriend is great. My young Boston Terrier puppy pissed on her. So in any event, I had a thought with that, but I got so distracted by the stories.
Well, the timing, did you talk to him about the timing of Putin deciding to go into Ukraine now when CPI was high?
He didn't seem to have strong opinions, as though he's preoccupied with something else, maybe shorting somebody or something. I don't know. We talked about it, but it was mostly me. And talking to David's like deposing someone in court a little bit, although he's much looser now that he has this lovely girlfriend. But don't forget Xi Jinping.
Yeah, right.
Russia, China right now is being sort of pointed as a potential backstop for Putin. I think that may way understate China's role in saying, now do this.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, Dave? I just want to give you a tidbit there, a fact that I heard the other day, or I saw doing some research. China produces a lot of the world's, I believe it's phosphorus. And there's three main components that go into fertilizer. You've got potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus. And China's a big producer of phosphorus. And I read somewhere that it was quite a while ago, it was maybe 6-9 months ago, they stopped allowing exports of phosphorus in China. And it kind of makes you wonder, okay,
how far in advance was this plan?
Right.
So at the end of last year, when I wrote about this stuff, I had assembled a model in which I felt that there were too many seemingly coincidental supply chain disruptions that looked like they were energy supply disruptions. Whether it was the Suez Canal clog or some refinery explosion, some hack of a pipeline. I go, they're setting us up. There's somehow energy supplies are getting constrained too coincidentally here. And so I actually wrote, I said, look, we are going to have an energy crisis that's going to be engineered, mark my words, I think was the sentence I used. I didn't know how, but here we are.
Yeah, right.
So now you look at something like China locked down for COVID in a very suspicious way, in my opinion, back in 2020. As soon as the United States went on hard lockdown, they opened up. I'm going, that was suspicious. Thankfully, they opened up, because we would have all starved to death if China stopped exporting shit that we needed. What's China doing right now? After several years of not giving a damn about COVID, they have a massive lockdown.
Yeah.
Now, is that a COVID problem, or is that oh, by the way, we're not going to be able to ship some shit to you now?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and I don't think China gives a shit if their people die of COVID. That's not high on their list of concerns, especially because it's not that lethal, right? So the idea China is going to lock down something important to them for COVID, right? The fatality rate is just too low. The old folks are the ones dying, right? There's nothing about COVID that would get China to shut down a major industrial region.
Especially with Omicron.
With Omicron 2.0 or whatever is 3.0. And so I'm looking at this China lockdown as just, and I could even imagine that they've told us that, you know, some say, well, you know, if you guys don't behave yourself, we might have another Omicron breakout, you know. And someone didn't toe the line that, we're locking down. So they don't look like bad guys. I read a book called The 100-Year Marathon by Michael Pillsbury. And it talks about China's deep-seated philosophical foundations. The first half of the book's by far the best. And they talk about things that over millennia evolved. And one of them is you never take on a strong opponent head on. You always get the strong opponent to destroy themselves. And that deception is always used. And I don't mean deception like, oh, Chinese are inherently liars. I'm just talking about everything's deception. It's like, yeah, if you want to take over United States, North America in the game of Risk, you put all your men over in Europe or something, and then you rip them across once the game starts, you know, in the game, you know, things like that. So China will always philosophically attempt to keep you guessing wrong. And Pillsbury said, we got duped for decades. He said, it took me years to figure out how much I was being duped. Yeah, he was a CIA guy.
I just want to connect the dots there for the viewers and listeners just momentarily there. So you've got two things that are the most important to every single country. That would be energy and food. That would be energy and food, or energy and stuff, let's say.
Right.
Now, especially to the United States, because we have to import pretty much every single item, you know, good that we use. Go to Walmart, Home Depot, Target, etc. So I think what you're saying there is Russia and China say, okay, we've got the energy and we've got the stuff. So Russia, you go ahead and cut off the energy, and then we'll go ahead and cut off the stuff. And now the West has got big problems, especially the United States. And you know, if you want to throw some macro in there, now that we've got the 2s and 10s inverted, you've got that inversion while you've got CPI at 8%. That means significant pain for the US consumer and voter. And it's the politicians, you know, they may be crazy and stupid, but they have to understand that China is, you know, maybe indirectly, or they won't admit it, but they're putting pressure on the United States, while Russia is putting pressure on the United States and Europe as well.